wanted to be a role model to each and every one of them. And seeing that Campbell was a team that I've already mastered, hopefully, through my officer and head position, and seeing that it was being headed by someone who I believe has potential, while at the same time, members are all relatively new, but really eager to learn. I wanted to be there for them and be the glue guy. Since it also contained from previous staff members to burned out members. It was really a team that was filled with different types of members, and I wanted to be there for them. So and then with that, I felt that I could serve more by becoming a chair and applying that same principle I had to that team to the entire committee.
Okay, good. Now, we'll ask the current technical Papa DJ to ask your individual, your questions for your possible, your potential successors. So we'll start with Jewel.
So my question is to Abby and Kyle. Why did you choose to run for president and not for VP of your committee? What difference do you think you can make as president when VPs are VPs of JMA as well, and all of your plans are good for the VP positions? Okay. Why did you choose to run for president and not for VP of your committee? What difference do you think you can make as president when VPs are VPs of JMA as well, and all of your plans are good for the VP positions?
Okay, so basically, the main factor talaga why I chose being president was because I didn't want to just help finance, but I wanted to help JV. And yes, finance TV also helped JV, but then the scope of what I want to change. I didn't want to have that attachment to finance then when helping JV, because I really wanted to help JV as a whole instead of just finance. And I really think the kind of structural changes that they want to make, the kind of innovations that they want to do, is really something that a president has to, not just the VPs. So yeah, that's why I chose to make president, because I really want to make a bigger difference.
Okay, so as much as I love my committee also, and we're not, I would really love to serve JMA as a whole for each individual committee as well as the non-based teams. And it's because I believe that being a president is, as much as Jules, as you say that these are plans are also good for being VP as well. But then being a president sort of makes this difference that you're not just doing it for your committee. And as much as like what you're doing for your committee is also beneficial for what you're doing to JMA, because you can't just take your committee as your committee and no one else, because everything's at the point. But the main reason why I chose the president's position is because it will help me talk to the vice presidents and have and sort of be that bridge among them that connects all the teams, all the committees together. And yeah.
Okay, which qualities of David de Padua and Nigel Perez do you want to emulate during your term? Should you win? Again, which qualities of David de Padua and Nigel Perez do you want to emulate during your term as VP that you win?
For David, I think he was very approachable and he was very friendly, and I really want him to do that. I want to be a VP that everyone's still comfortable talking to, like everyone's comfortable just being around with, and I want to be a fun VP, not just a VP that wants to work and work and work. As for Nigel, I want people to know how much I love JV and how much I've invested in this sport. I want people to believe that as long as you want to do something, you can do it. I want to be like Nigel because he's one of the best examples for JV. And I think that he's really an inspiration to everyone. No matter who you are. Yeah.
question for, oh, we'll just ask another question for Sarah. That was given. From Sarah, how can you assure us that you will stay committed to JME when, number one, it took you so long to decide to run, and number two, you said that you thought about not being active in JME more than once? Again, how can you assure us that you will stay committed to JME when, number one, it took you so long to decide to run, and number two, you said that you thought about not being active in JME more than once?
Okay, so to answer the second question first, I said this yesterday. I didn't. Okay. Because every sem, I say this. Like every sem, I say I don't want to be active anymore. Ever since after my marketing position in EE, I said that I was so drained because of the sponsors, and I was really drained that I just started marketing, and it was my first time to go in marketing, so I really didn't know what I was going into. And I was really drained after, but I felt the fulfillment. And then I got, people got believed in me, and then they would push me. And after my next position, I also said that again. And I say it every time. And as people keep telling me and talking to me and saying that they believe in me, I don't believe in myself. And then I know I have so much to give back. I know I can still go into a next position, it's just that I'm scared. But then as much as I see everyone rooting for me, I believe in myself after. The first question. With commitment, I don't think I have any problem with commitment. Once I say I will commit to something, I will commit to it. Once I decided to run, I know what the responsibility is. I decided so long because I really took long thinking if I can do it. And I decided.
If there's one reason why you don't deserve this position, what is it? And if ever you can, what do you plan to do to overcome? Again, sorry. If there's one reason why you don't deserve this position, what is it? And if ever you can, what do you plan to do to overcome? If there's one reason why you deserve it.
If there's one reason that I don't deserve the position, it's probably because in my whole track record as in internals, my focus was probably more of recruitment and of the events inside internals. And I didn't much focus on the systems. And because I know how important that is, I think that would be the reason why I wouldn't be deserving. But then, even when I was chair, you saw that I was kind of struggling with the systems that Info was in charge of. But then, of course, to overcome it, I want, of course, like as a VP, it's my responsibility to know exactly what I'm supposed to do, because I'm supposed to be the role model of all of the internalists. So I would of course learn it by heart, know it, and overcome that.
Okay, so hi Paige. It's kind of long. So, okay. For example, an external team is already a week delayed with their program plan and they really need to resist the night. Upon seeing their pub master approval, which took the officer 2 sleepless nights to make, you see that this is objectively unappealing. With no Jamie logo and branding is all wrong. Would you approve this pub mat and uphold the Jamie brand or risk delay and the lack of promotion of this event? How would you go about this? So, would you approve this format and uphold the JV brand or risk delay and the lack of promotion of this event?
As a pub VP, that's really my job, and I'm telling you guys, if you elect me, I'm gonna say no. Because for one, if it's objectively obvious, there's no JV branding, how can it effectively promote your event in the first place? So even if you took 2 days to do that, but as you can see, it won't work in the long run anyway, and you won't achieve what you want to achieve with that promotional material, then it's not going to work anyway. So you might as well just improve on it. So when you release something, and you release something you'll be proud of, and the whole team will be proud of, and something that will best represent your event and effectively capture the market that you're targeting. So that, yeah, I think that it's more important to present yourself the right way in order to attract the people instead of, you know, I know that you work hard on it, but if you're gonna turn off the people who are gonna go there, then what's the use? So might as well just do it again. I don't know.
Basically, what is SPR? I don't want a textbook definition of social problems. Talk about people and the culture. What is SPR? What is it now? Because you all know what it was. What is it now? Where do you see it going? And where do you fit in the whole scheme of things? Basically, what is SPR? Where do you see it going? And where do you fit in all this?
As I see SPR right now, given like the way that I saw, because as a week member, I was able to see that from a different point of view during commerce. I saw it was a very strong committee that unified, and it's not actually about doing like it's not about how well they did, it's how well they were, how well put together they were. So I really see SPR as a very strong committee, and the people inside are all genuine and chill, and they're really funny. Like you can always go to them if you have like a bad day, you always just lighten up your day. So given that culture of SPR that we have now and what it should be in the future, I honestly, as a leader, I really want to leave it up to them. I want them to decide like where we want to go next. And how I fit in that picture is I'm going to help them, I'm going to guide them in whatever they want. Because honestly, SPR is whatever they want to make it. You know, it's whatever they want the committee to be. So given that, I'll do whatever I can to help them realize their potential and come to love the SPR really, and to become themselves. You don't have to be anyone else, you have to be themselves only. And that's what makes SPR so cool.
For me, I think SPR right now, it's a committee that a lot of people have different perceptions about. And it's a committee that in some way JMA tries to always associate with the past as someone who's batak, who's ready to strip anytime that they want. But then given also something that everyone knows, that JMA and that SPR is a committee. It's a committee that's made up of old mems and new mems, like the leaders that you divide. I have to admit that as a chair, that's actually something that I really saw. That there really was a divide between the old mems and the new mems. And honestly, for me, I won't say that if I was to be part of that, if I was to be an SPR VP, I won't really be a glue to both the old mems and the new mems. Because I think that SPR in general, the new mems, they all have different personalities. If you got to know each and every one of them, not all of them are willing to take off their clothes. Not all of them are angas or batak. They all have different personalities, and I think my role in general is to bring out what they want the committee to be and not live out something that people have always expected out of them. So technically, redefine the image of the committee by making the ones involved, the actual members of the committee have to say what we want SPR to be.
Next question is for the presidential candidate. In recent years, there has been a trend of presidents first being ad hoc chair before assuming the presidency. If elected, how do you plan to supervise the next two ad hoc meetings? Again, in recent years, there's been a trend of presidents first being ad hoc chair before assuming presidency. If elected, how do you plan to supervise the next two ad hoc meetings? We'll start with Annie.
Okay, so as you can see, I was an ad hoc chair, but then I was able to be a project coordinator for them ever since I was an app, and I could see how the presidents have led them, and it's basically knowing when to step in and when not to step in. I mean, presidents are supposed to be very hands-on and are just there guiding them to the right direction, and if needed, that's when they step in. And basically, I think that's an important thing, that you don't meddle into it too much, but at the same time, you still know that they're still fulfilling the objectives of ADMO, and that they're still, as a team, standing on as EVP.
Basically, I just want to share a few facts now. Because obviously you guys all know about Ford, all that they've been in the car industry for so long now. They've had years of background in the car industry. But then out of nowhere, there comes this motor company called Tesla who makes electric cars. Basically, the founders, they didn't come from the car industry. They came from different industries. They came from technology. They came from electronics. Basically, but they still deliver having beautiful cars that people really envy. And that's what I think I can bring to the table. Coming from a different background means having a different view of something. And having a different view of something isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing. It can help. Because an extra view is really something that is invaluable sometimes. And it also helps with innovation, which I think every organization really needs. Right? It's innovation, which is really why I ran for president. Because I really want to push innovation in the organization. So basically,
This one's for Barbara. How are you different from past people? And what do you bring to the table aside from your happy personality? How are you different from past people? Now, what do you bring to the table aside from your happy personality?
This is past internal.
Internal.
Well, I can't really say that I am better than the old because that would be bad. So I would try to say that how I perceive things is different because coming from parang how I like doing things is that I always have a system before I work. I'm not sure if the other people do this, but then I just not put it on people. What I do always is I always type down everything. Example, my stint in B, like my grandma. I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it better. So what I did was I always list down everything that needs to be innovative, everything that needs to be improved, and I have a pro and con list. And from there, that's how I work and develop everything I need to do, everything that needs to be done. So in internals, that's what I did. Looking at my GPOA, I just found everything that needs to be done per committee, per team, and the pros and their cons, and then what we need to improve. And as you can see in my GPOA, I just found functions and I want to change a lot of things. Like moving I want to change the objectives of the teams. Because I see that that they can be further pushed in the better direction as I think. Parang now. Okay. If you want more information, maybe my GPOA.
The center page. Some pioneers have noticed that JV movements nowadays for external events have similar looks and feels, but are geared towards different causes. How will you ensure that publicity elements and themes will be successful in differentiating one event from another? Some pioneers have noticed that JV movements nowadays for external events have similar looks and feels, but are geared towards different causes. How will you ensure that publicity elements and themes will be successful in differentiating one event from another?
For one, I don't think it's an inherently bad thing, because at least we are consistent with branding. So at least when people see your pop-up, they know right away, oh, this is a JMA event. But then how can they distinguish it from one another is, I think, based on the insight that the team has. Like, what is essentially the event? I think there's a mismatch between like what we want to see on the pop-ups and at the same time, who are we really targeting these pop-ups for? So I really want to ensure that the creative team or the creative officers, whoever they get to do their creative, really has the target market in mind and not just what the team wants to see on these posters or the images, that they think, oh, this is pretty, but really it's not really talking to the audience and they don't match up. So I think it's more of this, I think it's really the disconnect there. So it's more of making people understand that, going back to the core of marketing, like who are you talking to and making them translate that visually.
Okay, this is for Nessa and Ian. I'm from SPR and I'm not happy in the committee. How will you address the fact that there are many inactive SPR committee members? I'm from SPR and I'm not happy in the committee. How will you address the fact that there are many inactive SPR committee members? We'll start with Nessa.
Being the current SPR chair, I've actually encountered that problem a lot. I've tried contacting out the of the staff members to actually join our SPR, the SPR lunch we had, and then our upcoming sprouting. And then the thing with them is that the first thing that they always say is that I don't know the new people anymore. That's what they always say. And as for the new members naman, what they always say is that I always hear these names, but then I never see them. So I think it's more of really bridging all of them, really creating more events for them to bond. And because I think that SP right now is really, in a way, even though we're close, it's ready to start forming into different things. So I think I want to dissolve those and really make the committee bond in general as one committee. There.
Okay, when I was peer solutions head, my 3 officers were actually, they're all older than me, so they're all around 30 when I was around 2nd year. One of them was a new member, and 2 of them were already very long inactive them. So they were given that position. And when I talked to them about it, they said that the reason why they were established was because they also didn't know a lot of people, and at the same time, they had other priorities. So given that, I believe that promoting unity inside the committee is not just an effort of the VP or the chair. It's actually a collective effort of the committee. That can be promoted by actually it can start from us, and also it actually has to start from the members also to be able to reach out to others, because they can honestly, some people can't wait naman for events just to reach out to them. They have to be able to have that initiative, to be in that drive to want to get to know the new members and the old members. So given that, I think that you can promote some kind of culture that you're like whoever you are, like it's okay, like we'll accept you, like there's no fear that it's supposed to be associated with meeting these new people, because they're your committee and they're your family. So given that, I think the best way to address it is not just as a VP or as a chair, it's actually as a committee together.
This one's for Ina. You propose a double directorate system. How will you ensure its effective implementation, given that some members of teams holding one directorate position tend to feel stressed with their work methods? You propose a double directorate system. How will you ensure its effective implementation, given that some members of teams holding one directorate position tend to feel stressed with their work methods?
Just as I said in my GPOA, it's not, the members of the directors for the double directorate system are not appointed, rather they're hoping for sign-up. So for example, we have the initiative